Here with Tyrone Riley, San Francisco freshman wing. Tyrone has been one of the most impactful freshmen through about, 2 weeks of college basketball. We're going to dive into that and much more. But maybe before we get into that, we love focusing on players' unique journeys at league.him. So maybe let's just take it all the way back, the roots of your basketball journey, who influenced you to get into the game, and kind of work our way through there.
So I started playing basketball at the age of 3. So it's been 15 going on 14 years since I played basketball and started learning how to play basketball. What got me into basketball is my dad played professionally overseas. So that was like one of the ways I could connect with him. So like I got a love for the game and then we just started sticking with it. And then as years went by, I started taking it more serious and it became like our way of really connecting and bonding with each other. So if anybody was to inspire me, I'll for sure say it was him.
Gotcha. You say you started playing basketball at 3 years old? We talking little tykes hoops or?
No, I really wasn't playing organized basketball until like Parks and Rec around like 5 or 6, but like I always had a basketball in my hand from 3 to 6, so my parents knew that it would be something that I did for sure.
Is there kind of a moment looking back you're like, "All right, I really started taking the game seriously at this point?"
I'll say when I quit football in 7th grade, because I was a dual sport athlete, like my whole life, played football and basketball. But before 7th grade, I was taking football more seriously. And then 8th grade, I was like, you know what, basketball's for me. So let's really tell my dad, let's lock in and really get it done.
What position were you in football?
I played a lot of everything. So growing like the earlier years, I played quarterback, running back. Then as I grew, I got more like a tight end, wide receiver role, and then played a little bit of D and a linebacker.
Okay, wide receiver wise, what kind of wide receiver we talking? Like, is there a pro comp there? Like, were you running routes? Were you a red zone threat? Quick off the line?
It was more just like we're in red zone, they're just throwing a fade ball to me for sure, just let me go get it. But mostly they had me on like a lot of deep routes, just throw the ball up and hopefully I go grab it.
Gotcha. Have you always been pretty tall?
I would say I was pretty tall always growing up, yeah.
So growing up pretty tall, like what was kind of your go-to role when you got into the game? Were you always kind of handling the ball, comfortable with the ball on the perimeter and stuff like that?
So believe it or not, I was more like a big growing up since I was the tallest player on the team. So I was in like a lot of high post action. Didn't really shoot that many threes. It was literally high post, mid range pull up, or just straight to the basket for a layup. That's literally all I had in my game growing up.
So what was the kind of inflection point where it started to transition a little bit more to the perimeter?
Um, I guess 8th grade, my dad saw how the game was adapting, so he was starting to tell me like, okay, you have to learn how to dribble more. I was able to already like developing handling skills, but that's when we really keyed in on it to like turn me into a real perimeter player that can really space the floor out and shoot. So I was doing like a lot of point guard work, a lot of point guard workouts, and really just focusing on getting my ball handling tighter, and then being able to shoot the three at a high clip for sure.
Your high school career, obviously it was pretty recent.
Yeah.
When you look back at your high school career, like what are you most proud of?
Like the fact that I stuck through it with the small school that I went to, St. Pius Academy. Going into my freshman year, we were D3, and we ended up making our way all the way up to Open Division in California. So those 4 years sticking through it, a lot of ups and downs, won a championship, got a lot of accolades. So it's just been an overall success that I was able to do it at one school.
Collected some hardware in the process?
Yeah, got a ring. Um, I had 3 opportunities. It only came out with 1, unfortunately, but it's all good.
I guess into your recruitment, like how was that through high school? How did that kind of progress for you?
So my freshman year I had a pretty decent year, I would say. But AAU is when I really like stuck out that year. 15 year I played with Team Why Not and EYBL circuit. So a lot of coaches saw me play that year. And going into the sophomore years when I kind of like blew up in a way, like my sophomore summer, Section 7 for the California teams, is when I really got noticed a lot. And that's when my recruitment really picked up. I think I picked up close to like 14 offers after that weekend. And then it just kind of kept going up from there.
Growing up in California, a lot of really talented, highly regarded, and well-known basketball players. I mean, the
Yeah.
guys I'm sure you looked up to growing up, like they're known. They get a lot of attention, really.
Yeah,
And
for
there's
sure.
good things that come with that, bad things that come with that. Was it like really fulfilling for you to have a moment like that where you're like, all right, my work's starting to come to notice, picking up all those offers in kind of a quick period of time?
Yeah, I kind of realized everything was coming into action before that when the ESPN 60 rankings came out, and I was on those rankings. So it's like I was a unknown player from a small school that made it to those rankings. So then I was like, well, Dad, the work is starting to show. We might as well just ramp it up even more now. Who knows where we can like where this could lead to. So I feel like that kind of made me want to grind more and continue doing what I was doing.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Was San Francisco your first offer?
That was my second offer actually.
Okay.
They were supposed to be my first offer. My freshman year, I came to the elite camp when Todd Golden was here and all that staff. And after the camp, they were going to offer me a scholarship, I believe. But due to flight, I had to leave to go back to LA for our flight, so we couldn't have the meeting with the coaching staff when they were here. So with the transition to every like coaching staff leaving and all that, they just offered me the next year with our head coach now, Coach CG. He ended up offering me my sophomore year.
Who was the first offer?
Southern Utah.
Southern Utah. Okay. So, but still, San Francisco showed early love. Two different staffs. Somewhat local for you.
Most people don't know this, but my dad played here in 2003 to 2005. So it was kind of he loved to see me get the offer from his alma mater also.
Like, what were you really looking for before you ultimately decided to commit to San Francisco?
It was a lot, especially being a highly touted prospect. So it was definitely a lot to like handle all of that, especially someone who didn't know, like who didn't have anybody who's been through the process of doing it to like kind of mentor you. So it's kind of like playing everything by ear. So each time I didn't just a new learning experience for me and just grasping the opportunity because not too many people get the opportunity that I got. But going my junior summer, I ended up suffering a broken leg, so that summer, like my recruitment slowed down in a way, and it was just like ramping up. So it got like stagnant, and most schools didn't know if I would be healthy to like play my senior or freshman year. So when I wanted to commit in the first process, most schools were like, "Oh, if you commit here, we want you to redshirt." And knowing me, I knew I would be healthy for my freshman year in San Francisco. It's like, you know what? We know what you can do. That broken leg ain't stopping nothing. If you say you're healthy, we're gonna go with it, and just can't wait for you to get here. So, I ended up coming here. I feel like it was a family. I don't regret the decision at all. Most people ask me if I do, but in all honesty, I don't. So I'm just taking advantage of being here and being able to play actually, because not too many freshmen are getting this opportunity that I'm getting.
Definitely, for sure. I like the way you put that, and I like the determination from the injury. Not a lot of players are dealing with that. Not a lot of players go through a small school throughout their high school career, especially in recent years. A lot of the players you compete against, they move around, they go to a bigger team.
Yeah.
So I guess two-part question. First, what did it mean to you to stick with that team throughout your entire high school career? And then kind of because they go hand in hand, what was it like rehabbing back, getting healthy during a point where for a lot of players that's like you said, like you're peaking your recruitment, you're getting all this attention, you're going on visits, like it's a really exciting time, you're seeing some of the rewards of your work.
It was definitely a long process, I would say for sure. But like staying with that school is more like my mom. She put me in the school and she set the foundation. Like this is the school you're going to. We're not about to be bouncing around and doing all this that everybody else is doing. You're gonna have to make a way with basketball one way or the other. And I just accepted that and just continued to work with my coach. Me and him got a really tight connection from the beginning. Like he believed in me as a freshman. I could come in and possibly lead a team, and he knew I can do something special at that school before I even knew it. And then going through the rehab process, it was for sure a lot. It took a lot of like trust in myself. It took a lot of trust from others, and it took a lot of sacrifice in a way. My dad had to like miss a lot of opportunities for me to like rehab and all that stuff. It took my rehab took very I would say it took shorter than it was supposed to. I was supposed to be out for 7 months, and we ended up cutting it to 3 to 4. He put me in a lot of professional rehabilitation and stuff, a a lot of workouts, a lot of trainers that knew what they were doing. He it was a lot of money. I would say that it was for sure a lot of money for me to get back healthy, and my parents ended up making that sacrifice for me to get healthy in the short span that I was in, and they just helped me and stayed like believing in me to get back, especially in that 2 month process where I basically had to relearn basketball all over again and like get the strength in my leg again and get back to myself.
So going through that experience, then making the decision to commit, and then having to kind of work your way through before your freshman season. How would you kind of compare your game and how it's evolved since the moment you committed to San Francisco and right now, 2 weeks into your freshman season?
It's for sure been like a difference, but I feel like my game has grasped more of a professional role in a way. Because in high school, I was, everybody's the scorer guy who just goes and just tries to score as much. But being here, I've tried to impact the game in numerous of ways, which is that defending, rebounding, and I've taken a role of being off the ball more and just being able to knock down shots wide open, cut to the basket, and make my teammates better in a way. So I feel like my game now translates more to a professional role than what it did in high school.
To talk a little bit about, transitioning to fitting within a team construct, impacting winning. Been on campus about what, 6 months now?
Yeah, we got here in June. Yeah, 6 months. It's been as a freshman, I say I've adapted very quickly. I feel like the first 2 to 3 weeks, I kind of took the role of this is not your show, and you're just gonna have to fit in and do whatever the team needs you to do to win. And I feel like that me learning that early is kind of what has helped my success now because I've had months to like really get through it and find my niche for the team and find where I fit in for the team to win and be successful.
What were your kind of expectations after the summer, going into the fall? What did you expect of yourself and the team kind of going into the season?
So in the summer, we all knew we'd have a special group. So that 3 week break we had before we started school, I was just focusing on gaining more confidence within our system of play. It's a weird, it's a lot of like a real split action work. So it was like new to me. So I had to really learn it, the ins and outs of it. Um, and then just when I went home, I was like, I'm gonna key in on defense. I'm gonna key in on being able to knock down open shots. Like those are the two things that will get me on the court. And if I can do those at a high level, I'll play a lot and be very successful here. So for that 3 week break coming into the fall, that's what I really locked in on.
And then, the season ramping up. You guys have your exhibition games, you have scrimmages. Now we're 2 weeks into the season. How would you kind of break down the past, I guess, month?
I feel like this month has been very successful for my first scrimmage. I showed a lot of flashes and made a lot of winning plays, especially in the clutch in that game. And then in the second scrimmage, I did the same thing, a lot of winning plays, did a lot of everything. And then the confidence just ramped up to our first game where I had a scoring outburst, which I kind of didn't even notice what happened because in the scrimmages, I wasn't a scorer really. I was more of a defender and had easy buckets. But to see the ball finally going, especially from the 3 point line that game, for sure, like ramped up my confidence. And then it's just been up from there.
26 points in your freshman debut. Had a solid game and a win versus Boise. You guys beat Long Beach State, and you just had 28 on Saturday and a win versus Chicago State. You talk about maybe just you're trying to stay on the court, like you're trying to impact winning, you're trying to maximize what you can do in the minutes you get. And then you talk about, adjusting to like playing off split actions, playing off the ball, making reads and dribble handoffs, running off screens, backdoor cuts and stuff. What do you think's allowed you to kind of pick that up quickly?
Yeah, so what my coaches and my dad tell me is the more you give yourself up in the split action, so the more I don't run to the ball, where in our like you refuse the screen in the split action, you curl the screen, you basically cutting and just making your other teammates better and giving them opportunities to score, then the ball will gravitate towards you. And I feel like it's given me a lot more easier shots than when I would run to the ball and have to take a tough shot. So I feel like just going into that and trying to just be for the benefit of the team instead of for myself has kind of helped me with those performances in a way.
Were you kind of preparing for it a little bit mentally watching the team last year?
Yeah. To be honest, when I committed, I forgot the whole offense from my visit because I like went over it with the coaches. So we asked the coaches to send me a whole videotape of the offense to where I can like relearn it. And I feel like me and my dad, we just studied it for the 2 to 3 months that I like after basketball season before I got on campus. And when we got here, it was like I kind of knew what was going on, but I just didn't know the play calls for it. And once I learned the play calls, it was just the sky was the limit for me.
Last year's team had Jonathan Mogbo. He's one of the better players in college basketball. Ended up going first pick of the second round of the draft. Was that exciting seeing something like that from the school you were about to go to have so much success?
Yeah, it was for sure great to see, especially that mid majors are now producing NBA talent because I'm at a mid major and I want to be in the NBA. So seeing that can show me that I can make it from here and I don't have to transfer to another school and just to probably have aspirations of making it to the NBA.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I mean, as a basketball fan, Mogbo is a fun watch. Like
Yeah.
he's a pretty dynamic player. And he's actually getting significant run early for the Raptors. They're playing a lot of their young guys. But yeah, so very impressive mindset, adapting to, your freshman season, maybe on a more basketball skill set level. Like, what do you think you've shown in the first 2 weeks? Played 4 games, talked a little bit about scoring, playing off the ball, kind of letting the game come to you. But if you had to like break down what you've shown so far, how would you kind of convey that?
I think I've showed flashes that I can be really efficient when I'm on the court. I know my plus minus is sky high whenever I'm on the court from the last 4 games. So I've showed that I can be a real pest on defense. I've shown my athleticism really well, and then mainly I've shown that I can really shoot the ball at a high clip recently and early, which is kind of put notice on other schools that I'm a capable shooter, and with the space, then it will for sure go up. And I'm confident enough that it'll go in every time I shoot it. So I'm shooting it with confidence at all times.
You kind of hinted at there. Couple games in the season, you're scoring, you're shooting at a high clip. Now you're starting to navigate being atop of scouting reports, getting run off the line. I thought one play that stood out against Boise State later in the second half, quick reaction to the closeout, little pump fake, drop off pass, bounce pass. They ended up calling a foul, but
Yeah.
sharp move. So what has that been like? Obviously, it's still early, but adapting to being a freshman, not only picking up a new offense, but then having to adapt to different schemes being thrown at you.
It takes a lot of film with the coaches. I'll for sure applaud my coaches because they put a lot of time um, into trying to enhance my skills on the court, especially with a new college system with more athletic players. So every day I'm in the film, I'm watching film with them, breaking down something I can do better. And they were telling me like now that you've had a couple games where like you stood out, most teams are gonna run at you. So now we have to work on different reactions. And the pump fake, one dribble pull up was one of them that I've been working on a lot. But the dump off was there, so you might as well, give it up if teammates wide open. But I've been just trying to add things to my bag, which is like different counters and reactions to what teams throw at me because I haven't been schemed for at a real college level yet. So I should be ready for everything that a team should throw at me. What I do is I try to get going on defense, get out and run, um, get an assist, get a rebound, get a steal, get one of my teammates a wide open look, and then that gets me going. And then they'll do the same thing for me. Like if I'm wide open, my teammates have complete trust that I'm gonna knock down the shot. So that just comes with like a connection and building trust with your teammates on and off the court as well.
You're someone that has navigated a lot of adversity past couple years, your basketball career. Got attention early, a highly regarded player from the start of high school, decent football player from what I'm hearing,
Yeah.
versatile two-way football player. What would your advice be to someone like a lot of players go through adversity in high school and, sometimes it slows them down, whether it's a guy not getting the right offers he thinks he deserves or not getting the right attention, or maybe your game's just not impacting on the court the way you want it. What would your advice be to players going through that adversity?
What I would tell them is the journey of basketball has a lot of ups and downs. Um, and something that our coach tells us all the time here is don't ever let your highs get too high and don't ever let your lows get too low. So if you're going through some adversity, it's like it can't always rain throughout your whole journey. The sun's got to come out eventually. So if you keep that mindset and it can't always go bad, then eventually that's when you'll start seeing more good days stack up on each other and less bad days coming upon you.
It seems like you use the phrase, is it talent over politics?
Yeah, talent over politics.
I like that one. Let's expand on that. Talent over politics.
My dad actually, I guess it was something my dad and one of his crew made up, talent over politics. And I seen it in all his posts about me, especially. So it gained my interest, like talent over politics. That's nice because the game of basketball has turned into a political game in a way. And I feel like um it should be about what you're able to do on the court than who you know on the court. And I feel like the game is turning about a who you know and not what you know. And talent over politics is like the prime example of that. Like talent should be over politics in the game of basketball for sure.
So off of that, mid-major guy, you seem like you're proud already of your roots. Repping those mid-major roots. Like, are you watching guys in the NBA now and you're like, all right, that's a mid-major guy, taking a note to that in your head?
Yeah, for sure. Especially a lot of mid majors come from the WCC conference. So when I see that, it's like, okay, if they did it from this conference, then I can for sure do it in this conference as well. And I actually look up to them because it's like not too many mid majors guys go to the league and prosper. So when I see a lot of mid major guys having success, then it just inspires me more to push through and get there as well.
Off of that, we talk about mid-major players, but who are some players? I know you talk about your father having an influence on you growing up. Who are some guys you liked watching growing up, whether it's mere entertainment or like taking little bits and pieces?
Every kid had that Curry era. That's my age. They had the Curry era where you want to shoot the ball. But the person I really watched growing up was Kevin Durant a lot. I kind of like modeled my game after his in a way, like a tall guard that can spread the floor and do everything, can shoot, defend, and just athletic. So I kind of modeled my game after his. And then somebody I've been watching more recently has been like a Brandon Ingram or an Anthony Edwards type of player. So I'll say those three are the people that I watch the most now.
Bi and KD, they got the length. You definitely have the length on the court. You got like a 6'8", 6'9" wingspan,
6'10" and a half, actually.
6'10" and a half, and you're 6'6".
Yep.
Yeah, so that shows on the court. I mean, you had the putback the other night. What's the art of a putback? You're someone like you corner crash, like you're definitely a active offensive rebounder.
I would say, like, I see when the ball comes off, like, if it's about to hit back rim, I'm for sure going to get it. Or, like, if it's like a little, like the one in Boise where it's like a roll around off the front rim, then I'll try to get it. But I like the ones that, like, bounce out pretty far because then I can actually fly in with momentum and just catch it on the run, basically.
Off of that, you seem like you have a really mature approach. Had great influence getting into the game. You talk about studying film, whether it's X's and O's, getting into a new system, watching players you like. What's kind of been your film study process over the years, and how has it evolved?
I would say my film study kind of picked up in college because in high school I really didn't watch that much film. It would be other team plays, and that's it. Now I'm in the coach's office watching what I'm doing wrong on defense, what I'm doing good on defense, what I'm doing bad on offense, what I'm doing good on offense. And then when we watch the other players, is like a full into detail. Or after a game, we'll watch like every clip that I'm in on defense first and see if I'm in the right floor position every play, see if I'm calling the right reads in the every play. And I feel like that's kind of helped me to have more of a, I'm not gonna say perfect game because nobody's perfect, but I'll have less errors in a game since I've watched every little nitpick, every detail on defense, especially in film with the coaches, and accepting that criticism when I'm not doing something right. Being able to accept the criticism and apply it onto the court has been a real perk that I've gained since I've been here.
It seems like you're a real hoop junkie. You dedicate a lot to basketball over the years. You had to work your way back to health, and now it's showing on the court. What kind of keeps you grounded off the court?
Where I am and like what people overlooking me is kind of what keeps me like grounded. Like I wasn't the number one player in the country. Then it's like I feel like I should be the number one player in the country. So if I'm not, then I need to grind to so people can feel like I deserve that or that I've gained that. So I just grind every day to be a better version of myself and then give myself an opportunity and give back to my family for sure.
You say family's probably like your why.
Yeah, family's for sure my why because they've supported me. I feel like my family and like my close friends who I consider family that supported me throughout all the tough times and the bad times. I feel like seeing me them seeing me succeed is kind of like giving back to them. So I want to be able to succeed every chance I get and every opportunity I get. So they feel happy about helping me and supporting me. And then it's also just making myself proud as well.
So let's say it's an off day, no basketball, no basketball.
Okay.
What's your day look like for you? Are you getting some good food in San Francisco? Like you playing the game?
An in-season off day is more interesting for me in a way, I would say.
Okay.
Um, so like with our Saturday game, I'll use that as an example. Sunday, I woke up pretty late, like probably 10. Then I go get treatment 10:30. So my body's recovering, basically getting hot tub, cold tub, get my legs worked on, so I'm fresh for Monday. After treatment, I'll probably get some food, hang out with the coaches, go bug them in their offices for a little bit, about 20, 30 minutes. Probably watch some film with them while I'm there. A lift for sure, an upper body lift with my strength coach, and then we'll go to the pool for recovery. Um, then basically I relax the rest of the day, play my video game, DoorDash some food, and just relax and get ready for practice the next day. On a week on a weekday, I wake up, depends, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, I'll wake up around 10 for a 10:30 class. Then we don't have practice from 12 to 3, so I'll probably go get some more treatment, talk with the coaches for a little bit, do study hall, then class at 4:30 to 6:30, eat dinner, go home, relax, talk to the fam for a little bit, play my video game a lot, and then go to the gym again. Love it.
You get a lot of late night work in?
Yeah, especially one of my coaches. He moved closer to the gym, so he walks to the gym. I'll text him, be like, "Yo, can we come rebound for me?" Every night we go at 9:30 on the dot, shoot for about 45 minutes, and then go home and get ready for the next day.
What's that routine look like?
We go in, we'll do a lot of hand-eye coordination work with finishing and stuff. I've started it for like a week and a half now, so I've gotten better as I've started and gone through it for some time now. Then we'll do a lot of spot up shots. Then we'll do a lot of shots out of our split actions, like our split pop, all that stuff, our handoff stop behinds. We'll just master that down, and then we'll do some transition NBA threes and just get some off the dribble stuff going. Then 25 free throws in a row, you call it a night.
Nah, you got incredible journey. I'm happy to see you playing well. I'm excited to watch you guys. What is it? You got Memphis and another big game coming up, right?
Memphis Thursday, Clemson next Monday.
You excited for those type games? You already got that mid-major pride. Are you like, let's see what happens?
I'm excited. Memphis is considered the number one mid majors team right now, especially not playing a NBA arena for the first time in my college career. So this is gonna be very exciting for me. Just gonna grasp the moment and do whatever I can do for the team to win. In due time, I'll make my dream of making the NBA come true and hear my name called in the NBA draft.